Hello, 你们好. 你好, everyone. Thank you for dropping by on this tour. Melchizedek. Hello, Terry. Stephanie. Queen Ariel. All right. Now I'm standing in the alleyway of the village here. And usually for this tour, we did it at home. We demonstrated the Chinese calligraphy, Chinese characters, and tea. Maybe with a focus. Today, we're definitely focused on tea because it is the tea season. First of all, the weather today is a cloudy day with a little bit of sunshine. Let me show you the views around here. There are some tourists. You can see there's maybe a couple behind me. They are asking for directions. What kind of tea will we be focusing on? You will see Queen, for sure. I'm in Huangshan City. Of course, this is one of the many villages in Huangshan City. And as the name suggests, Huangshan City features Huangshan mountain tea. In Chinese, it's called Huangshan maofeng. And I'm going to show you the tea, something about the tea in the next 1 hour. It's a cloudy day and a raining spell. In general, it has been a lot of rain, and it's going to continue. See, there's a group of tourists. They come here to visit. But now I think we've got maybe 2 to 3 days like present during this raining spell. No rain. A little bit sunshine. Yesterday, I saw a lot of farmers picking teas at the mountain. And today, according to the local insiders, they told me that maybe there's less tea that's picked by the local farmers that comes to them because they are the purchasers. All right, let me show you and the people, the protagonists of our tour today, including my wife. Yes, Quinn, this tour is 60 minutes, 1 hour. So, you know what, maybe it's not too much about picking today. As I told you, not a lot of picking is expected today, as most farmers already did it yesterday. You know, it's supposed, in a warm weather, tea grows very fast. And people can basically even pick off tea leaves or buds. Actually, it is a time now for people to pick off the buds now, and in the later period, tea leaves. So this is also maybe a differentiation of Chinese tea buds and tea leaves. This is the time for the local villagers to pick the tea buds. It is supposed to grow pretty fast, but since it is actually a minor cold snap in spring, maybe in English you have an equivalent term that is blackberry winter, which refers to sometime in spring when the temperature is unexpectedly low. So we're actually now in that. Therefore, tea doesn't grow very well. Yeah. Local farmers have to wait. They have to wait. They have to be patient with the harvest. All right, this lady just now was showing us the tea right here. And there's also my wife standing on the right. This lady, we have seen her a couple of times on my different tours. And now they are packing the tea leaves. So do let me know if you have any questions. What's your favorite type of tea? Okay, Quinn, you are probably very curious about the type of tea right here. And my favorite tea is maybe black tea. But here, look, it's a Chinese Huangshan maofeng tea. Let's first of all have a close look. This tea was processed just a couple of hours ago, last night. And this is the lady who processed the tea these days. She started working on her tea from 3 o'clock yesterday in the afternoon, and she finally finished and went to bed at about 11 o'clock in the evening. And she told me that yesterday, since it wasn't too wet, actually took her less time. Therefore, she went to bed earlier than expected. Sometimes she goes to bed in this time of the year, 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock the next morning. Very, very, lot of work. I haven't been well. Getting back on my feet more powerfully than ever. Okay, Queen. Hopefully you can get better. I don't know what happened to you. Look, this is a Huangshan maofeng tea, and there's the name of the tea on the package. Huangshan maofeng. Look, this character stands for mountain. Does it look like an abstract mountain? Yeah, Chinese characters are pictographic in nature. Mountain. Mao means hair, hairy. Feng means peak. There's another mountain, a small mountain on the left. So yellow mountain, hair peak. In this case, a tea leaf or bud is likened to the mountaintop of Mount Huangshan, maybe. Yeah, and there's hair on the surface of the tea leaf that makes the tea leaves look hoary, white. That's why maofeng, hairy peak. We have cold snaps in the south, here in the USA, in my area. That's right, Laurie. I think this is a more dangerous time for people. People are very prone to catching a cold, simply because they think it is spring, and there were some warm days that came to us even 2 to 3 weeks ago. So people are not so guarded against the unexpected cold. But this is actually part of our temperature mode. Yeah, we call this, like in your term, blackberry winter. We call it 倒春寒 in Chinese, which literally means reverse spring cold. Reverse spring cold. This process is called sealing. 半斤一包. This is the package. The amount of the tea in this package is 250 grams. In Chinese, 半斤. 一斤 is 500. 1 jing is 500 grams. This is half a jing, which is 250 grams. My wife has been in tea business also for many years. And this lady, she started to process tea when she was 10 years old. But later, she didn't continue until just a couple of years ago. She started to purchase some machines here. And then processing tea till now. And these are the machines, the tools they use for the process of Huangshan maofeng tea. So if you're curious, I will ask questions on your behalf. Of course, I think the other day, I mean, next time I'm going to do another tour that is just to show you live how the lady makes the tea here with all the machines here. Sometimes frozen ground, sometimes snow even into April. Our weather here is just crazy.
你就补这一袋哈。哎呀，你这盒子袋。
你们介绍介绍呗，跟我也可以普及一下关于茶叶方面的知识。
你叫娜娜给你讲，我讲不来。
你会讲？
我讲不来，叫娜娜讲呗。
你这个性格也好，然后还会讲，会讲的。
啊，姐妈，你看等好1厘几个，那个是顶的呗。1厘这个就是生发制顶了。那都没有啥制顶，这是生发制顶了，除了生发制顶没毛制顶了。那把制顶别它的，那也拿不过哎。
很小的，都现在是头采，所以都是嫩芽。
能不能单独展示一下？
等到后面那个茶叶大起来了，它那个芽头哈，叶片就大了。
那个不还养好嘛？这个呢？第一个好几个。
Let me wait until they finish their dialogue. A lady passing here asked the question. So they now just finished their dialogue.
雀舌哈，所以它这个早期的毛峰也叫雀舌。
雀舌。
对。
它也叫毛峰哎。
This is the local Huangshan maofeng tea in early stage. In early stage, these are buds. It's a bud, and you can see the bud in the middle, accompanied by 2 leaves. Sometimes it's 1 bud and 1 leaf. Here in this case, 1 bud, 2 leaves. Yeah, and these tea leaves were just picked off the tea trees yesterday by the local villagers. And usually people start picking, of course, in early morning. But of course, after the sun comes out. And then they do it all the way to when they finish, it's probably afternoon. They bring their fresh tea leaves here to a local processor. And they sell their tea leaf to the local processor or the purchaser. So in this case, both my wife and this lady are the tea dealers. They are the purchasers. They are the procurers of the tea here. The romantic name Chinese people give to the Huangshan maofeng tea now for this bird, for these buds, is 雀舌. My wife mentioned that just now, 雀舌, which literally means sparrow's tongue. The tongue of a sparrow, yeah. The way they communicate sounds like they are fighting. Yes, Christopher, that's right. I mean, to you, to Westerners, yes, very much so. And even sometimes to me, yes, it sounds a bit too overwhelming. Of course, I said this not to say that I'm just a typical city slicker, something like this. I mean, even in a city like Shanghai, you should be very used to also hearing people talking this way. It's not just the people here in the village or in rural China. It's also just a lot of people in China, they just habitually talk this way. Yeah, it's also very common in cities. Very common. And last time, maybe for just once, I explained why. In my understanding, it is so. But probably today, we can skip this part, and we'll come back to that on another tour when I come to something cultural. But anyway, it's just a matter of fact. And sometimes the same thing also happens to almost everybody. It's almost we are just part of it. Maofeng, yeah. Maofeng is the official name based on the vernacular local language. Well, 雀舌, the sparrow's tongue, but in this case, it doesn't have to be sparrow. Actually, it's finch. the ton of a finch, but let's say a sparrow, because the first finch, the most common finch that comes to your mind is usually a sparrow. And in Chinese, 雀 does appear in the name of 麻雀, which is a sparrow. But it can also refer to other type of finch. The ton of a finch, this is the elegant name of it. Oh, which phone do I use? I use an iPhone, iPhone X, and I bought this phone quite a few years ago. I have been on this phone for at least 6 years, 6 or 7 years. You know, this is not one of the latest modes of iPhone X.你们有什么可以分享的啊？可以分享。你们是这里的真正的主人，你们是这里真正的懂行的人。
你说现在是头采，再过几天那个茶叶大起来了，就便宜，价格就便宜了，叶片就大了。
This is
这后来都快递寄的给我，这个钞票都几。
These are tea leaves before processing.
判工都搞得好。
来，你这些茶叶是昨天的？
昨天的，看这个
啊，
做假的。
昨天晚上加工出来，今天打包快递。
没有，我说这些。
昨天的。
这个昨天有一个人不是我不要他的茶，他们拿到那个文凭那去，文凭不要吗？我不是把它收下来的吗
？Okay. You can see these are
verdant fresh
tea leaves. Let me wait. Let me wait. We have time. Let's talk about the whole thing step by step. Let's wait. By the way, my wife is Lan Lan, and she is a native. She was born and grew up in this area. She moved to a big city called Hangzhou together with her parents when she was a girl after she graduated from middle school. Her schooling comes to an end of middle school. Okay, let's have a close look at the fresh tea leaves. These tea leaves were picked yesterday. They were supposed to be processed yesterday. But this is an exception. My wife yesterday finished off the procurement of tea leaves around 5 o'clock in the afternoon. This is kind of something people just understand as their normal practice. But there was one lady who came after that with this bag of fresh tea leaves. And that lady, like some of the villagers here, is a less mentally abled lady. And she spent her day picking all these tea leaves. And they came to us. My wife was reluctant to take the tea because when it arrived, there were a lot of impurities, meaning a lot of stalk, big leaves, and the leaves that just appeared undesirable to a normal purchaser like my wife. But my wife, after second thought, took it anyway. She bought it out at a normal price because that lady looked quite miserable. Yeah, and so what my wife did was she took her time, maybe half an hour or 40 minutes, for herself to cull out all the impurities. And my wife said, that lady looks poor, looks miserable. So let's help her and don't take advantage of her, because you know what? Actually, when that lady arrived at our house, and there were some other neighbors around, and some neighbors even told us to just to give her a extremely low price, and we didn't think that was proper, so we anyway bought it at normal price. And actually, before the tour started, we were here also doing the culling, because after the tea is processed through all different steps through these machines right here, this one, that one, and this one. These are the three major machines you need for processing the Huangshan maofeng tea. And when we got here, the lady took the tea leaves out from this machine, and this machine is used for air drying with temperature, the tea leaves. And she took all the leaves out on layers of the bamboo containers like this, and we were actually culling out the impurities further after the processed tea leaves. So it takes some different, steps for you to clear out the impurities, just to make sure the quality of the tea is good and it appears attractive and superior to customers.你这个包装是龙井，这是龙井。Spring is the golden time for Chinese tea. This is a nice box for Longjing tea of Zhejiang province. It's a different type of tea. These two characters, Longjing. Look, here the second character, the last one at the bottom, this one means Jing. Jing literally means well. And that one is dragon. Dragon well. That's Longjing. Longjing is probably the number one, the premium Chinese green tea. Let's say there are maybe different famous Chinese green teas. Well, Longjing, maofeng, and Biluochun are probably the top three. So I'm holding this one, which is usually considered the top of the top. And then Huangshan maofeng is what the ladies now are mainly doing with yeah. Is your wife's own label? Is this your wife's own label for the tea? Okay. 来来，观众问，这是你自己的品牌吗？你自己的商标吗？
对，自己做的就自己的品牌。
My wife said, if I handle the tea, that's my label. Actually, the symbol you saw on the box of the container, on the box, is not her personal label, but here my wife is a tea dealer for many years, and she is a very experienced, sharp-eyed, and more importantly, very earnest and conscious tea dealer in China. I met her for the first time in her tea shop in Shanghai. Then, back in the year 2011, yeah, we met for the first time in her little tea shop in a tea market in Shanghai. Does Lanlan have a website where she sells her tea? Katie, she doesn't have a website. Yeah, she usually says that she is not good at marketing with modern technology. But she does have a good network with her customers. And of course, she has been in Hangzhou, Shanghai, and here, different markets. She's now packing the tea, and the tea is going to be delivered to her customers. She's quite busy these days, and last week she was away in Hangzhou for the tea business.来挑选一个雀舌最生动的一个页，哪一个最像雀舌？挑选一个看看。
最像的
这种是吧？
再小一点。
Now I'm asking them to pick out one of the most lively to resemble the tone of finch. This one.
一个牙，
看到吧？
一叶一牙。
一叶一牙。This is one leaf, one bud. The most classic type of Huangshan maofeng tea for this time of the year. The tone of a finch.
你这解剖呢？泡来很长。那他姐姐在泡，你就看一下他姐姐泡了没？他要拿过来。
拿过来好了。拿到这来泡嘛。
你要喝连泡一杯呗。
没事，我不是要喝，主要是可以的话就展示一下吧。刚才我去那边瞄了一眼，好像没有看到什么人在采茶叶今天。
没有茶叶，哪有茶叶的？路上没什么茶叶。
Yesterday I asked the local villagers who came to our property to sell their tea to us about if they expected to harvest more tea today. Almost everyone said no tea. No tea is expected for tomorrow. This is their experience because it's relatively cold and it's still wet with a lot of rain in general around this time of the year. This is both typical and a little unexpected. Typical because there's always the reverse. Cold spring this time. And unexpected, of course, because people expect to have warm weather so that they can pick their tea leaves successfully and sell them earlier than later for a good price. They don't want to wait. They don't want to just sit and wait with this kind of undesirable weather, which eventually can lead to the loss of their business or their livelihoods for the local villagers. So this is the tea, maofeng tea, being brewed in hot water. 这是宁心的谁啊？
姐姐，
姐姐啊，亲姐姐啊。
亲姐姐，
哦
我姐姐。
Oh, I don't know. This lady is actually that lady's sister, blood sister. I never met her before. 她也住在这里吗？你也住在这里吗？
他在福州，
在福州啊，在福建啊，湖州了啊，浙江湖州。I see. She lives in 湖州。I mistook it as a Fuzhou, a city in Fujian province, but actually it turned out to be Fuzhou, a city in Zhejiang province. And Huzhou is maybe 1.5 hour drive or 2 hour drive away from here. Have you noticed when she first showed me? Have you noticed when she first showed me 1 minute or 1.5 minutes ago, the most tea leaves were floating on the top, with just a few then coming down or already at the bottom. But now with the time going on, you can see tea leaves are more evenly distributed in the water. Sometimes people, they really enjoy the process of the tea leaves getting distributed in the hot water. It's like a dance. It's like a performance of tea leaves. And you can see they stand in the water with their arms spreading out at the top, like flowers or like dancers. Just use your imagination. Oh, 你要不要喝？
没喝过，你喝。
还没喝过啊？
刚喝过。
那很香的这个茶叶。
They said this tea is very aromatic.
给他姐姐喝呀。
来，不，你喝。
对，先要给好，先没给好。
是的，如果可以的话，你喝好了。他现在在抱小孩，关键是，哇， that baby。好的。哇， that baby。这个宝宝1-2个月哈。5个月啦，哎呦。This baby is 5 months old. Wow. 他这皮肤怎么了？
发那个小孩发那个细菌。
发湿疹。
湿疹啊。
你容易好哎，扛不好，这个到上次洗就好。
The baby suffers rash on his or her skin. 男宝宝女宝宝？男的。His skin. He's a boy. It's a boy. 5个月大了，我以为还很小的，看上去。没事，拿一下来。冰冰品尝一下。
我品尝过了。
香的，它是
烫啊！喂，你还怕烫啊？
那个，
The water needs to wait a few minutes after boiling. Yes. Yes, it takes let's say 3 minutes on average. But it's not fixed. Just like how the tea is processed by different craftsmen. They have their own experience, techniques, and also it's decided also by the humidity, weather, some different conditions. Well, for the tea, yes, the standard is maybe 3 minutes for the tea leaves to get steeped in hot water, and ideally you can use instead of boiling water, maybe 90-degree temperature water to brew the Huangshan maofeng tea leaves. And they can be steeped in 3 minutes, ideally, before you drink. As it is a green tea, like just many other its peers, you can enjoy usually 3 steeps out of 1 serving of the tea leaves. Different from black tea. Black tea can be still appreciated after multiple steeps, up to usually people say 9 steeps. But green tea, 3 steeps. Oh, I believe he has 2. Harry, if you don't mind asking, do you have children? Oh, yeah, Queen, I have children. Thank you, Joe, for answering this question for me. I have 2 children, and they are in school now. They are in grade 3, my boy, and my daughter in grade 1. They are almost 3 years apart. But in school, they are 2 grades apart. But they're actually almost 3 years apart. And the Chinese people expected to enjoy their tea for the consumers or for the villagers and for the tea business insiders to do with their Chinese tea around the Qingming festival. Qingming is both a festival and a solar term. And Qingming is a festival that is associated with ceremonies people hold at the tombs of their ancestors to pay a tribute. And here you can find some of the common things local folks use. And they are buying these. Later, they will bring them to the tombs of their ancestors to burn, to set off here. Why set off? This is a firecracker, and there is a firework. This is part of what people do at the tomb of the ancestors. They play firecrackers and fireworks at the tomb. After they burn all these paper money, these are the tokens that stand for money. Or there is something more direct about money. Here is it. Look, Chinese 100 yuan bill. But this is issued by a very special bank, Tiandi Yinhang. Yinhang means bank. While Tiandi, these 2 characters respectively mean heaven and earth. The bank of heaven and earth. And here, this is the portrait of an emperor who lived like 2,000 years ago. And I believe this is the archetype of this imagery is Emperor Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor of China, who established the first dynasty, the Qin dynasty. And this emperor was the first one with the power to bring some sizable states together into one. He is considered the founder of China as a country back 2,100 years ago. Actually, more than that, 2,200 years ago, Emperor Qin Shi Huang. People burn the money as a way to carry their wishes from this world to the other. He has a nice hat. Yeah, this is the typical hat an emperor in Qing dynasty wears. I think it's only related to Qing dynasty, not even to Han dynasty. Usually emperors in different dynasties of China, they have some stereotypical images. This is the stereotypical image of Emperor Qin Shi Huang in Qing dynasty. But usually, you know what? The most common image of him, in addition to wearing this kind of hat, he looks very ferocious. He looks very fierce as the first emperor, with a lot of power and quite a tyrannical style of person. Yeah. But here, on the 100 yuan fake bill for the deceased, he looks mild.需要帮助吧？我可以弹一只手出来。如果是高度不高哈，没问题，应该来说，这不一定是空的，都是。These are the gift boxes. They call those boxes sometimes or just the packs. Sometimes boxes, sometimes a really nice box. Yeah. And here in this case, it's this metal box for a sachet of the tea inside. And afterwards, they are put into this handbag, plastic handbag. It goes very popular as a gift around this time of the year in China. Last time I filmed a little bit the shop over there, and I told you that in China people usually they buy different things for gifts, but the go-to items, if you want to play safe, regardless of who the people who are going to take the gift or what they like or not, the go-to option is usually this kind of Tetra Pak milk. This is very safe for anybody, for any household. And then maybe wine. Chinese wine, not made of grape. Chinese wine is usually made of different kinds of grain, such as rice, sorghum, wheat. The lady in the room over there with my wife is the wife of that man, and the couple has run this shop for many years. Why firecrackers? Joe, why firecrackers? You know what? I remember when I was a child, people in the city, I'm talking about Shanghai, they did the same. Although they actually just went to a public cemetery with a lot of tombs around. But at the specific tomb of their ancestors, like in my family, when they went there, I then went there actually with an extended family kind of idea. So more than just my parents, who actually came to my life pretty late. And before that, I went there with my other family relatives. They took me there, and remember they also played set off firecrackers and fireworks at the tomb. Yeah, they burn incense sticks. Now they still burn incense sticks, but they don't do the firecrackers because it's prohibited. But here in rural China, the tomb is in the mountain. There's enough space and it's more private. People can just do it. There's no ban on setting off firecrackers. As to why people do it, I mean, the simplest answer is just it's a tradition, right? It's just a tradition. But as to why it came as a tradition, probably a long time ago, as to why, I think, you can just associate with how people just make like the Chinese New Year happy in real life. A firecracker, a firework is able to make noise, and this adds to the spirit of the Chinese New Year. This is why. Make a happy mood. And at least this is what's preserved and observed by Chinese people, for sure, as a tradition. They like in crowds. They like being in crowds. This is also another characteristic of Chinese people. Instead of being in a tranquil condition, Chinese people, they usually like to join other people. They like to jump on the bandwagon. They like to see people. They like to be in a place where there are a lot of people. They want to hear noise. They want to just, touch people, get into loud conversations. Yes, as you can tell, obviously. Hello, Barry, Joe, Chelsea. Thank you for joining the tour. This one is puffed. It's so puffed that you are not able to squeeze it into the box properly. And my wife, who is more experienced in packaging tea leaves, suggested the lady to make a hole with a toothpick to release the air from the pack. Therefore, it can be tucked into the box. My wife is able to make tea leaves into different packages. Last week when she was in Hangzhou, people asked her help for putting the tea leaves in paper package, and which is more difficult to do. You have to tuck corners and arrange the shape really well with experience to make a square box of tea with only paper. And then you use a rope to fasten it to make a box without losing the shape. A lot of ladies much older than my wife, who has also been in tea business for many years, cannot do that. But my wife is able to do that. She is a hardworking and a very can-do lady. 戳过了吧？现在好一点了哈。他戳了吧？下去了哈。All right, done. Is this lady single? Joe, actually, this lady is the wife of the man who appeared in the video maybe 10 minutes ago. And he is over there now. He is the one who runs the shop. He has run this shop for over 30 years, and he told me that he never troubles. He started running this shop when he was a really young man, and now he is in his 50s. They have 2 children. Their son is a freshman in the university, and their daughter is a 6th grader in a primary school. In China, a 6th grader sometimes is in a primary school, sometimes in middle school. It depends on the locations, to be honest. The first grade to the 5th grade definitely is in a primary school. And the 7th grade to 9th grade is definitely in the middle school. While the 6th grade is the interim grade between these two. According to weather forecast, it's going to be either rainy or overcast in the coming days, in the next 1 week, which doesn't look ideal for tea picking. And but don't worry, I will keep an eye on the actions and bringing the best timing of the tour to show you how Chinese people pick the tea leaves in the fields. Thank you, Laurie. What's your wife's favorite tea? Is it okay?王兰兰，你最喜欢什么茶？啊？你最喜欢什么茶？我啊，又有观众问了。
福鼎白茶。
福鼎白茶。
我最喜欢花茶。
我最喜欢花茶，真的吗？对。你最喜欢花茶？
我最喜欢喝花茶。
Okay. Yeah, my wife answered. Her favorite tea is 白茶, white tea. Well, this lady said her favorite tea is flower tea. And my wife said, I hate flower tea. Flower tea is actually more like a fermented... Oh, no. Flower tea is more like a scented tea. It can be different flowers you use to make the flower tea. It's kind of like an herbal tea with a strong scent. My wife prefers original flavor, blend flavor, original, natural. Probably that lady prefers something with a strong flavor or scent. They have different tasting buds. Eh, 你能不能对着我们拍，对着我们包，不要老是背对着我们。我转过去。对啊。这样子。你老是背对着我们，但是我进来又不是很方便，啊。
这个是那个封口剂。
来，你介绍一下，对啊，你才是主角啊。
这个是要给它封口封好才能装罐子呀。
This is a sealing machine. Let's see how she does it. Thank you, Catherine. Do my children like tea? Yes. They both like Chinese tea. It's their mother's influence. They like Chinese tea more than I do. But I do like Chinese tea. I like black tea, and I can also appreciate maofeng green tea here, and bai cha, which is my wife's favorite, pretty well. But you know what, Queen? Children are not advised to drink excessive amounts of Chinese tea. Just, drink a good amount for them to be able to appreciate. Because tea, anyway, also contains caffeine, especially the less fermented or unfermented tea, including the green tea. It has relatively higher content of caffeine. Less than coffee has, but more than other types of Chinese tea. Bye, Queen.嗯，然后装一个手提袋，一个手提袋的话就是2个包装嘛，2个盒子。
有个手提袋的，对。它这个不需要手提袋，我直接给它寄过去没事。
Joe, this is the lady's husband. We call him Bing Bing. This is not his original name, but in China it's common for people to call somebody by the double of part of his name. Let's say a character of the person's name. My Chinese name is Gu Xiaohui, and when I was a child, some people called me Hui Hui. And in this case, Bing Bing, because Bing is one character contained in his name. That's right, Bing Bing, yes. Sounds like Ding Ding, Bing Bing. Bing Bing, 你的名字叫什么？本名叫什么？吴延安。哦，冰冰的话是因为你小时候大人这么叫你。
吴延安，
我这叫笔名，
笔名叫冰冰啊。哦。
我爷爷帮我取2个名字，有笔名啊。
哦。
不是多多印度让你取名了，多不了名字字。
I confirmed with the man right here and asked him if Bing is a character in his name. He said no. He said his Chinese name is Wu Yan'an. Wu is the family name. Yan'an is a city name where the Long March ended, where Chairman Mao based his military after the Long March. It's considered a holy city in China for the Communist Party's revolutions in early stage. It appears in his name. Well, as to why it's Bing Bing, he explained that his grandfather created the Bing Bing as his pen name. Thus has been adopted by just the folks in this area for all these years. People call him Bing Bing. This comes originally from his grandfather for his pen name. Is the grocery owner going to buy the tea from your wife? Barry. No, because this lady who owns the shop together with that man as the couple, she has these machines in this part in her workshop. She processes Chinese tea herself. She doesn't have to buy. When I say she is the processor of Chinese tea, that means the local villagers every day in this time of the year, after they pick the tea leaves from the tea bushes, come here to this lady to sell their tea buds and leaves to this lady for her to process. And then this lady, after processing, she's going to sell the tea to other buyers. Her tea now is in high demand. There are people just in this village asking for her tea, and it's in shortage. She doesn't have enough tea to supply the buyers in this village. Usually the buyers, are those people who have connections with customers in a city. They are not the local villagers who have just live a very confined life for this village. Yeah. Obviously, people here in the village, they don't need to buy the tea. First of all, they have their tea plantation. And in second place, they don't want to spend much money buying tea, as they usually are quite old and frugal people. They don't want to spend money buying tea. And not the processed maofeng tea. So the buyers are usually from bigger markets. Those people in towns and cities across China are the buyers. So my wife has just packaged a lot of tea, and the tea is going to be sent every day to customers back in Shanghai and other places across China where my wife has a connection with. Stephanie, my pleasure. Hopefully you have enjoyed the tour, and you can come back next time to see how Chinese people pick off the tea leaves and buds in the tea plantation. Today is not a good day, although it looks sunny. I explained why. Let's wait and see, and I will show you more. And you know what? We have seen some visitors, right? Some tourists. There are some tourists who come here to visit. You get to see them, yes, in spring, in summer, in autumn, but not much in winter. It's the golden time for tourism, domestic tourism. Barry, my pleasure. Hopefully you have known the life and the tea a little more with this tour and my explanation. I'm very glad to know that. Okay, guys, I think we have come to the end of today's tour. Maybe I can lend my hand. You can see they are all very busy. And let me just say goodbye to you right here. Goodbye, as I know, goodbye maybe comes from the phrase goodbye. Goodbye, goodbye. So actually, if that is the case, it actually contains originally a religious meaning. So let me know if this is the fact you know about. Okay, thank you so much. See you next time. Tomorrow I have a tour to show you the cooking of pancakes with my wife. And we refurbished our kitchen. and also the exterior of our house. So if you're interested, I can show you how it turns out. All right, see you then. Have a good night and day.